53rd Annual Lord Passover.
53rd Annual Lord's Passover is going to be held down here in Florida.
It's going down.
You're here tonight to get a chance to be righteous enough to be worthy of God. Come on, to save you.
That's right.
It's going down. The Lord's 53rd Annual Passover.
When we say we no cowards, we stop that business. We no cowards up in here.
Book your hotels now at the Holiday Inn Express and Suites, the IHG Hotel, 301 Tucker Lane, Cocoa Beach, Florida, 32926.
Comes with all your dishes, pots, and sports knives.
I kind of like this. This is like an apartment, and a hotel. You know what I mean? Yeah. This here right here is about to be holy ground. This is going to be holy ground. All our beautiful, wonderful brothers and sisters from all over the world. You understand? We can boast that now. Brothers and sisters coming not only from every state, but from all over the world. I heard the numbers this year is ridiculous. We had to buy out the whole hotel.
Friday, April 15th at the Space Coast Convention Center.
My camp undefeated. You cannot debate. You just want the clout. We just want the grace. I'm just trying to get it.
This is going to be glorious.
Give a fuck, you can see it in our face. Got it out the mud, straight up out the base.
All right, let's clap it up. Shalom, DC, with the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge, out of 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Commanding General Yahanna. Since 1969, we've been teaching the truth of the Bible, and the truth is that the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native American Indians are the true Jews, and that our oppressor is the devil that the Bible speaks of. Today is one of Esau's holidays, and they decided to celebrate the presidents of today and past, and that's what my discussion of topic is going to be today. Why we absolutely should not celebrate these stinking presidents. None of them have done anything to help the black and brown community. As a matter of fact, they rise up on the backs of the black and brown community. Their efforts and their causes and everything that is to them to build this stinking kingdom up is at the cost of the black and brown community, the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native American Indians. And what I am going to show and prove to you is exactly one of the ways that the presidents of the past and is benefited from what this president had put into effect, how it destroyed and is continuing to destroy the black and brown community. What we're going to get into is we're going to get into a few people in particular. We're going to get into a few people in particular. One of them, his name is Gary Webb. He was an investigative reporter on the West Coast. He did some investigative journalism on, and his claim to fame was the Dark Alliance. And what the Dark Alliance was, it was a 3-day series of articles that came out in a newspaper over on the West Coast about how the Iran-Contra scandal came to be and how the way they used their political gains to oppress black and brown, the black and brown community. You know what I'm saying? And how the way they did it was through trafficking of drug, of cocaine, crack cocaine. The crack epidemic in the 80s was in large part due to the Iran Contra scandal. Now, how in the world is the Iran Contra scandal have anything to do with, the crack epidemic in the 80s when it comes to the black and brown communities? Well, I'm about to get on that, and we're about to talk about that tonight. Let's touch on real quick exactly what is the Iran Contra scandal, because some people really don't know what the Iran Contra scandal is and how it affects us. Let's see. Let's look at this one. Get me the Salakia. Give me the second article from there. It's 2 Iran Contra scandal, the Iran Contra affair, and then the second Iran Contra affair. If you could, Bob Shaw.
The one that looks like it's in the president's office.
Yeah, that one.
Khan. Iran Contra affair. The Iran Contra affair, often referred to as the Iran Contra scandal, the McFarland affair in Iran, or simply Iran Contra, was a political scandal in the United States that occurred during the second term of the Reagan administration.
So this is a reason why they're quoting the presidency, which administration is going through, because it goes all the way up to the president. Even though he was somewhat protected from it, he knew everything about it and he okayed it. So this is one of the reasons why it linked to this president's administration. Keep going.
Calm. Senior administration officials secretly facilitated the sale of arms to the Khomeini government of the Islamic Republic of Iran, which was the subject of an arms embargo.
All right. So what was going on was is just like it says in the scriptures, is unrest in the area we call the Middle East. So there's been unrest there, and will always be unrest until Christ comes back and brings peace on earth, right? Through the sword, not through hugs and kisses and whatever the Christian church tells you. So there was some unrest, and a lot of that has to do with with Esau and causing mischief on the earth. You know what I'm saying? They topple governments. They go in and start some ruckus between amongst the peoples. And they basically, play both sides against each other. In this instance, they wanted one party to be in power, and the people wanted another party to be in power. So in order for that to happen, they actually sold they gave arms and support and all these materials to the party that they wanted and in power. The people basically overthrew that power, right? They overthrew that power and they took them up themselves. The U.S. didn't want to go down slow, just lay down their foothold in that area, in that region. So they funded the guerrillas and to try and take back that land. And until this day, it has never happened, Till this day, has never happened. It's always been within that. After they upthrew that political party. Fast forward, Reagan tried to. Matter of fact, let's keep reading. Baba Kashaw.
The administration hoped to use the proceeds of the arms sale to fund the Contras in Nicaragua. Under the Bolin Amendment, further funding of the Contras by the government had been prohibited by Congress. Okay,
so this is important. Just like what they were doing in Iran, they were doing the same thing in Nicaragua, right? These Esau does this throughout the world. Many of the, if not all the conflicts in the world has much to do with Esau and his meddling in other people's affairs. So they wanted a specific party to be in power in Nicaragua. That party was not the official party. It was not the official government. So they were funding the guerrillas. They were funding the official government were they say they're communists. The guerrillas, they said they weren't, so they were funding the guerrillas, the people, the rebels, so to speak. Under the Bowen Act, so this was under the first administration. First administration, it had the Republicans had the control of the House and control of the Senate, and they had the president. Under the second term, they lost the control of the House and the Senate. So if anybody knows anything about U.S. politics, if you want to get bills passed, if you want to spend money, if you want to do things a certain way, it is much easier when you control both sections of the government, the House and the Senate. Why? Because things go through the House and then it goes through the Senate and then it goes up to the president. Now, if the opposing party controls the House and the Senate, they can put a quote unquote monkey wrench in things. So the president wanted to send a bunch of money down to the Contras in Nicaragua, but they lost during the second election. They lost the House and the Senate to the Democrats. The Democrats were in control, and whatever the President Nixon wanted to do in regards to Nicaragua, they put this act in place, the Bowen Act, saying that they cannot send any money to any organization that traffics drugs, because that was one of their ways of getting income. So they were trafficking drugs. So this Bowen Act says that the U.S. cannot send money there, right? So this is one of the main reasons why many of our fathers and uncles and sisters and brothers was caught up in the game, whether they were the drug dealers, whether they was in the gang shooting, whether they was the fiends, you know what I'm saying, whether they got caught up in the lifestyle and went to jail or died of died of ODs or died of contracted diseases from sharing needles and whatnot. This had much to do with what's going on right here. So the President Reagan wanted to send money down to Nicaragua to fund the guerrillas so that they can overtake the government, and then they would have a puppet, a shell, a puppet in office that is basically controlled by the president, right? Keep reading if you could, Baba Shaw.
The chart first.
Now go to the next paragraph. Matter of fact, no, read the participants. Read the participants and then go to the next paragraph.
Participants: Ronald Reagan, George H.W. Bush, Robert McFarlane, Caspar Weinberger.
All these men that he's reading are high officials within the president, the presidency, his cabinet members. You know what I'm saying? These are high people. And then there's other parties that you'll see who are very notorious. Keep going.
Hezbollah, Contras, Oliver North, Manucher Gorbanifar.
Hezbollah is a terrorist organization, according to the U.S. government.
John Poindexter, Manuel Antonio Noriega.
Noriega. Now we all know who Noriega is, right? He is a notorious. He was a dictator, and now he was convicted of trafficking drugs and what. He was convicted of a whole slew of things, but he is most known for his drug trafficking, and he is in jail right now, right? Yeah, continue reading, Baba Shaw. Hold on.
Okay. Yeah. The official justification of the armed shipments was that they were part of an operation to free 7 American hostages being held in Lebanon by Hezbollah, a paramilitary group with Iranian ties connected to the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps. The idea to exchange arms for hostages was proposed by Manucher Ghorbanifar, ex-patriot Iranian arms dealer. Some within the Reagan administration hoped the sales would influence Iran to get Hezbollah to release the hostages. However, the first arms sales authorized to Iran were in 1981, prior to the American hostages have been taken in Lebanon. In late 1985, Lieutenant Colonel Oliver North of the National Security Council diverted a portion of the proceeds from the Iranian weapon sales to fund the Contras, a group of anti-Sandinista rebels in their insurgency against the socialist government of Nicaragua. North later claimed that Manucher Ghorbanifar, an Iranian arms dealer.
Salakia, if I could, can you get me Zephaniah 2 and 12? I just want to address something real quick. Let me know when you get there. What I say, Zephaniah 2 and 12. All right. We got a stinking, dirty, filthy Hamite in the chat. And he's saying a whole lot of rubbish, a whole lot of crap, talking about, you know, who he is and who we are, who he think we are. I want to address this real quick. I hope your bum ass is still on there. You think you're the real Jews? You think you actually can do something? You think you are God's chosen people? You're nothing but a stinking, dirty Hamite. You stinking Ethiopians make me goddamn sick. You come on here and try and peddle your wares and whatnot, talking down to us. Who in the hell do you think you are? I'm gonna tell you what your just rewards are right here, right now. It's not my words. These are words of the Most High. All right. Get me Zephaniah 2 and 12.
Come. Zephaniah chapter 2, verse 12. Ye Ethiopians.
Who is he talking? Who is he talking to? This is the words of the Most High. Who is he talking to?
Ye Ethiopians.
Ye Ethiopians, you big-headed, big-eyed, smelly, raw food, meat-eating, fly-on-the-eye, stinking Hamite, piss-eating, doo-doo-eating Hamites. Who is he talking to?
Ye Ethiopians.
Right? What's going to happen to you Ethiopians? You think you the sons and daughters of God. This is what the Most High has to say about you stinking Ethiopians. The same Bible that you read out of, that you claim to be part of the Most High's chosen people, you are in the Bible. And this is your just rewards right here.
Ye Ethiopians also, ye shall be slain by my sword.
What will happen?
Ye
shall. It will happen. This will come to pass. When Christ comes back and he cracks that sky with the 200 million angels coming down to cast judgment on the entire earth, what is going to happen to him?
Ye shall.
Will. This will happen.
Ye shall be slain.
By what?
By my sword.
You ain't gonna be slain in the spirit like you stinking, dirty Christians be saying. You ain't gonna be slain in the spirit. You're gonna be slain by how?
By the sword.
By whose sword?
By my sword.
Most High in Christ. The Most High says that you are going to be slain by his sword. Christ is going to come back with the 200 million angels and he's going to slay you. You stinking, dirty Ethiopians. You. Read that again.
Zephaniah chapter 2, verse 12. Ye Ethiopians also, ye shall be slain by my sword.
Ye shall be slain by his sword. This is what the Most High is saying. These are not my words. You want to say you claim to be the Jews, the real Jews, the children of the Most High, one of the 12 tribes. You are not. You are, however, mentioned by name in the Bible. And your judgment is that you will be slain by the sword, according to the Most High. Those aren't my. You don't like it? Tough. You're still going to be slain. This is the words of the Most High. And if you want to keep on, talking all that nonsense about, how you Eritreans or Ethiopians, y'all are the same people. Y'all just, and especially if you claim to be Eritrean, you supposed to be Muslim. What in the world are you doing claiming Jews? You so confused. You don't even know what in the hell you talking about. You don't know what you believe in. But I know what I believe in. I believe in that you will be slain. According to the Most High. The Most High says you're going to be slain. You stinking, dirty Hamites. Now, let's get back to the subject at hand. If I could, let's get back to the Iran-Contra scandal. Now, it showed you exactly who was involved. It went down the names. Some of these names sound familiar, like Ronald Reagan and George H.W. Bush. George H.W. Bush was just the vice president. He later on became the president. Ronald Reagan, he was famous, or his wife was famous for telling our people, just say no, when she was the original trap queen. She was the one, her and her husband was the one who pushed tons, and I mean literal metric tons of crack cocaine and heroin into our communities. And they're pushing it in our communities, and they're telling us to just say no. How about you just take that out? You know what I'm saying? How about you just do that? You got something?
Oh, I can't. It was actually a farce in the first place, a falsehood. Them saying it was a war on drugs when it wasn't. It was a war on black people. Damn right.
Hold on. Shapat Dayak says he has. Let's see what Jeremiah 13 and 23 says real quick. 13 and 23.
Hold
on, let me get there. I'm almost there. 13 and 23. Most High in Christ. This right here is good. Read what you got.
Jeremiah chapter 13, verse 23. Can the Ethiopian change his skin?
Right here. They're naming the Ethiopians by name. Once again, you are in the Bible. You stinking dirty Hamites, you filthy, disgusting, doodle-eating pieces of trash are in the Bible. They name you stinking dirty Hamites in the Bible. Right? So continue reading.
Or a leopard his spots.
Can the Ethiopian change his skin? Can they change his ways? Why? How do we know this? Because they come over here and all they do is exploit us. That's what they do. They come over here and get under the civil rights protections that we have bled and died for, and they use it for their own communities. They build businesses for their own communities, and they look down on us, saying, no, how come you can't do this? Or how come you can't do that? And we did this and we did that, when all of that stuff was aimed to help you off the backs of us. All that stuff was aimed to help you. And we're the ones who got you these amenities, these so-called rights, these privileges. But once you get up, because you guys, when you stinking bastards come here, y'all come here in tattered and rags. You know what I'm saying? They come here with nothing. Then when you actually get up on your feet, and we actually, teach you some of the game, you get up on your feet, then you look down on us. You have your businesses, and you don't hire us. You do not help to perpetuate. You do not help any of our people, the black or brown community. You help your own community, which I can't really blame you for that, because that's exactly what the Most High says for us. That's what we're supposed to do. But can you change your skin? No. This is what the Most High is saying. Your actions and your integrity to your people is totally different to your actions and integrity to us. You may say one thing, I'm black and I'm proud, which you ain't black. Y'all got a different kind of filthy, dingy black. Y'all are not us, and you're not us, and that's why you look down on us all the time whenever you get a chance, right? So it's saying, read that from the top again.
Come. Jeremiah chapter 13, verse 23. Can the Ethiopian change his skin?
Mm-hmm.
Or the leopard his spots?
Leopards, can he change his spots? Did you know that if you shave the leopard down, that the skin or the spots at where the hair grows? Did you know that?
Oh, the spots underneath.
Yeah. So if you shave the fur, that same pattern where the spots are on the fur is actually on the skin.
Wow.
That and this is what they're saying. Can a leopard change his spots? No. Even when you shave it down, the spots, the way the hair grows, it's there. You ain't changing that pattern, right? Keep going.
Come. Then may ye also do good that are accustomed to do evil.
That's enough on that. These filthy, dirty, stinking, disgusting Hamites, man. They gonna get what's coming to them.
That's right.
And when it happens, Lord allow, I'll be on them chariots with a bowl of popcorn. With a bowl of popcorn. And with a bowl of pop, maybe. but honestly, one of the reasons why we're gonna be on the chariots, Lord allow. One of the reasons why is because the things that Christ is going to do. The things that Christ is going to do to this planet, we can't even stomach it. We can't stomach it. The scripture says the blood will be up to the horse's bridle. The blood will be up to the horse's bridle. You know how tall a horse is? And you know what a bridle is? A bridle is that thing that the horse, chews down on, and the rider gives it control, go left, go right, whatever. That's what the bridle is. And a horse standing up, it's about 5-6 feet at least where the bridle is. At least you go up to the top of the head, 6-7 feet. You know what I'm saying? So it's going to be blood up to the horse's bridle. You ever seen a horse crossing, a river? That's how much blood is gonna be. Like, it's gonna be something. It's gonna be a sight to see. It's gonna be a sight not to see. And you stinking Ethiopians, Most High named you by name. You shall be slain with the sword. I don't give a goddamn what you've done in your past. How you stood up. I don't care. You ain't gonna stand up to Christ. You ain't gonna stand up to Christ. I know that. I know that much. Let's get back to the article.
Okay. All
right, so let's hold on. Let's cut this short. Okay, so give me that second paragraph in late 85. After the table where you read all the names.
In late 1985, Lieutenant Colonel Oliver North of the National Security Council diverted a portion of the proceeds from the Iranian weapon sales to fund the Contras, a group of anti-Sandinista rebels in the insurgency against the socialist government of Nicaragua.
All right, so what was going on was, in order the opposing part of the guerrillas in Iran took hostages, and they took basically the whole embassy, the whole U.S. embassy hostage. In order for them to get the hostages back, the U.S. had to negotiate with Iran, even though the official policy is we do not negotiate with terrorists. They negotiated with them. The part of the deal was they was going to sell them something like $30 million. It was about $30 million of weapons, right? We'll sell them $30 million of weapons. Part of that proceeds went to the rebels in Nicaragua, right? And this is what they're saying, how they had the Bowen Act. After that, they couldn't just straight up send money over there. So when they did an audit, they found out that they were doing that. So what they were doing to continue to fund the Sandinistas in Nicaragua was they were already trafficking drugs. The CIA was actually allowing them to sell drugs in the U.S. They even helped help the shipment and to get into the U.S. Right? And here, this is where we break off and get me that other article with what's his name? James Dolan? Gary Webb. Give me that with Gary Webb.
Gary Stephen Webb, August 31st, 1955, December 10th, 2004, was an American investigative journalist from Corona, California.
All right, go down. Read that first paragraph. He began his career.
He began his career working for newspapers in Kentucky and Ohio, winning numerous awards and building a strong reputation for investigative writing. Hired by the San Jose Mercury News, Webb contributed to the paper's Pulitzer Prize-winning coverage of the Loma Prieta earthquake.
So he was an award-winning journalist, right? So he had some credibility. He had a lot of credibility within his profession. The Pulitzer Prize is one of the more prestigious awards a journalist can get in his or her career, right? So this is the accolades. Keep going.
Webb is best known for his Dark Alliance series, which appeared in the Mercury News in 1996. The series examined the origins of the crack cocaine trade in Los Angeles and claimed that members of the anti-communist Contra rebels in Nicaragua had played a major role in creating the trade, using cocaine profits to finance their fight against the government in Nicaragua.
So just like I said, the U.S. wanted to fund the Contras out in Nicaragua, so they allowed them to peddle their wares, their cocaine, and amongst other things in U.S. And they specifically guided it to us. They held it in, they kept it in, kind of try to kept it in close quarters of the Black and brown community, right? So with the proceeds that they got from selling to us, from the U.S. allowing them to sell to us, they in turn funded the Contras. Keep going.
It also stated.
Salaki, hold up. And Commander Yahanna, I.S.U.P.K. Commander Yahanna has been saying this for decades. For decades. This thing came out in '96. UPK has been telling this, that the CIA has put drugs into our community long before this article, this Dark Alliance series came out. Just like I.S.U.P.K. is a home of the truth. We have been telling the truth when it looked like we're just a bunch of crazies cultists and conspiracy theorists. But when it comes out to be, finds out that it's coming true, come on now. I don't know why people ain't banging down these doors right now. I hate to say this. This is like it's like Noah when he's preaching or when he's telling the people to get on this ship, get on this ark, get on this safety, because once them doors are closed, there's no one can open it. No one can open it. We've been telling you to get right with the Most High since 1969. Those doors to the ark are going to be closed by the Most High. And just like with Noah, there was many of people banging at the door trying to get in once the floods started coming. We're already starting to see, plagues. I mean, look at coronavirus. Coronavirus took out the earth. Literally stopped the earth for a good period of time, and it's still coming. What else is next? I shudder to see what else is coming next. Everything the UPK has been saying, is coming true. Look at what's going on in Ukraine. Look what's going on over there in Russia. World War III. It's coming to everybody's doorstep. No one is going to be able to hide from this. No one is going to be able to be protected from this unless you get in the ark of the I.S.U.P.K. That is the only way that anyone is going to be protected from the destruction that is World War III and Christ's return. Do not be on the other side of that ark when that sky cracks. When that happens, it's going to be too late. So, like I was saying, UPK has been warning people about this, and we were looked at as crazies, a bunch of crazies, when we were saying, really, the CIA put crack in our community, the Black and brown community. Now it comes out that is actually right. They held Senate meetings on this. People had to go to Senate hearings for this, and we're the crazy ones. And you still don't think that the oppressor is the devil? You still want to be you still want to lay down with his woman? You still want to put your head up his hind parts? You still want to do exactly what they want to do? No, we need to get far away from them as possible. Keep going in this article.
It also stated that the Contras may have acted with the knowledge and protection of the Central
Knowledge and what?
The knowledge and protection.
And protection. So the CIA knew about it and they actually protected them. Why? Because it was the orders of the president that people are celebrating this day. It was the orders of the president that he wanted to get money down to the Contras so that they can overthrow the standing government. And in order for them to overthrow the standing government, they let crack and cocaine and heroin get flooded in our communities. This is one of the reasons why Judah mourneth. This is one of the reasons why Judah mourneth, because our gates languished. We didn't have any protectors to stand at the gates and say, no, you are not allowed to peddle this trash in our communities. I don't care how much money you can give to us. You're not allowed to peddle this stuff in the community. And then once they were doing it, we were so pleased at getting a turkey on Thanksgiving. Who gives a damn? Really? My father's in jail for smoking dope. My auntie is in rehab for smoking dope. I got two cousins that's in the graveyard for selling it. You know what I'm saying? You got mothers out here having crack babies. You got mothers out here selling their babies for a hit, selling their children for a hit. Are you serious? This is the destruction that the president okayed, that he put this destruction on us. You want to go and celebrate them? Really? Not me. Not my brothers. Not my sisters. Keep going.
Come. The series provoked outrage, particularly in the Los Angeles African American community, and led to 4 major investigations of his charges. The Los Angeles Times and other major papers published articles suggesting the Dark Alliance claims were overstated, and in November 1996, Jerome Cepos, the executive editor at Mercury News, wrote about being in the eye of the storm. In May 1997, after an internal review, Cepos stated that although the story was right on many important points, there were shortcomings in the writing, editing, and production of the series.
So even though he's saying, even though it was right on many points, which really was right on all points, everything that Gary Webb brought out that the CIA authorized dope being shipped in by the tonnage, the metric ton into our community, the Black and brown community. And later on, we're going to read it how LA, they said it was shipped into LA, but LA was just a hub. LA was just a hub that went to many different Black and brown communities throughout the U.S. So when it says, just LA, that was a starting point. That was a starting point. You ever wonder how Amazon gets, your package to you in what, a day or two, sometimes in a few hours? They followed this model right here. They followed this model. This is what happened, right? So keep going.
Okay.
Now they're trying to undermine, the credibility of this journalist. Why? Because he cast a disparaging light on not only government officials, but the president of the United States. It went all the way up to the president of the United States. Keep going.
He wrote that the series likely oversimplified the crack epidemic in America and the supposed critical role the dealers written about in the series played in it.
Oversimplified? Hey, how much? Anybody know how the ghetto looks like in LA? Or does anybody know where crack comes from? Crack comes from coca leaf, right? You have to grow it, right? You have to grow it. How many farms are there in LA, South Central LA, back in the 80s? Not much, if there is any. It's a concrete jungle. You know what I'm saying? So how could we grow this coca leaf when, even though it is warm in LA, just didn't have the climate. Just didn't have the climate to mass produce metric tons of it. Then you have to synthesize it, turn it from the leaf into the powdered stuff. And then from the powdered stuff into rocks. Now we did have the means to turn the powdered stuff into the rocks, because that's exactly what we did. But how do we get get from the leaf to the powder stuff? You're saying it's oversimplified? It came in from somewhere. In the 80s, how many we were still disenfranchised. We didn't have much of excess. When I say we didn't have much of excess, how many black pilots were there back then? You know what I'm saying? How many of us that actually had, not only access to planes, but were, flew in a plane? Very little. We didn't have the tools to ship in all of this means and wares of running a drug empire. It just wasn't. We didn't have that. We didn't have it. So for it to be an oversimplification, it was shipped in. It was brought in, and someone had to be paid off in order to get all this metric tonnage of cocaine into our communities. Keep going. Go down to Webb resigned.
Webb resigned from the Mercury News in December 1997. He became an investigator for the California State Legislature, published a book based on Dark Alliance series in 1998, and did freelance investigative reporting. He died by suicide.
He died by what?
By suicide.
He died by suicide when?
On December 10th, 2004.
All right, so we're gonna get into his suicide death, right? Let's get that last paragraph and then we're gonna move on.
The Dark Alliance series remains controversial. Critics view the series' claims as inaccurate or overstated, while supporters point to the results of a later CIA investigation as vindicating the series.
And like I said, people had to answer in court. People had to testify before Congress. And you know what? There was people that were convicted of charges of doing this stuff. High-level cabinet members were actually charged with this. But they said, you know, this was an over-exaggeration or oversimplification that or someone's mind was running wild with some stuff. Drop me down, go down to death. And let's look at how he committed suicide. And you tell me what's going on.
Webb was found dead in his Carmichael home on December 10th, 2004, with 2 gunshot wounds to the head.
How many?
2 gunshot wounds to the head.
So hold on. They said he committed suicide by shooting himself in the head 2 times.
Twice.
2 times. Now, if anybody knows anything about guns, there is a possibility. I'll even give you there is a slim possibility that if you pull the trigger once, it can, have a double discharge. There is a possibility with that. But with those type of weapons, those malfunctions really comes with semi-automatic weapons. You know what I'm saying? If anybody knows what semi-automatic weapons is you're basically like Glock. Think of that. The more reliable weapon is a revolver. You're not going to get a double discharge with a revolver. As slim of a chance it is that you would get a double discharge with a semi-automatic, it's damn near impossible. It's damn near impossible to do it with a revolver. So that theory, we can see. Let's see what he shot himself with.
His death was ruled a suicide by the Sacramento County Coroner's Office. According to a description of Webb's injuries in the Los Angeles Times, he shot himself with a .38 revolver.
With a revolver. Come on now. You mean to tell me that he breaks the biggest story of his career, of his life, the thing that he's going to be known for, more so than his Pulitzer Prize winning piece on an earthquake? After that, he's going to shoot himself in the back of the head because he exposed something within our government that led all the way up to the president. And we all know how clean the CIA is. We all know how clean the agency is, how upstanding and no controversy has ever befell them. I mean, the CIA is literal spies. You know what I'm saying? That's what they do. They are spies, and they commit a lot of this unrest in different countries has more to do with the CIA than anybody else. You know those 007 James Bond movies? That's the British version of the CIA. But nonetheless, that's the CIA. So you mean to tell me that this dude shot himself twice in the head with a revolver? That's what you want me to believe. And let's see where he shot himself. It's not like he was like, all right, I'm gonna put on let's see where he shot himself. Because one would think that they'll take the gun and then they'll point it at themselves. But we'll see where he shot him. Keep going.
According to the description of Webb's injuries in the Los Angeles Times, he shot himself with a .38 revolver.
Hold on one second. Drew Jen says, Shalom, my brothers. Can you please break down Romans 13:1 and 2? If you need a breakdown, scripture breakdown, what you can do is you can stay on, come back Wednesday, and Wednesday night is our scripture breakdown. You can get a total breakdown of what you're asking for. Just come on back Wednesday night at 7 p.m. Drop your question just like you dropped, just like this, and we'll get you a scripture breakdown. Tonight we're doing history. All right, let's read that one more time.
According to the description of Webb's injuries in the Los Angeles Times, he shot himself with a .38 revolver.
Right? He shot himself with a .38 revolver.
Which he placed near his right ear.
Now you're saying, okay, if he has it, which was right, yeah. So he had it in his right hand. He placed it near his right ear, right? If he has it, this is the angle that you're going to do. That one would do, right? You place it at his right angle, and then where did the bullet come out of?
The first shot went through his face and exited at his left cheek.
His left cheek is right here. If I'm shooting a gun right here and I'm shooting at myself, place it near his right ear, how in the world? And then there's a .38. This close proximity is not like it's going to bounce around this short amount of space and then come out the left ear. There are bullets that can do that. 22s, yeah. 22s, 5.56 rounds do that as well. You can get shot here in the shoulder and it'll come out your right big pinky toe. You know what I'm saying? It can happen. It goes in and it causes maximum damage. But this type of round, he said they shot him near his right ear and it came out his left cheek. Now, how can it come by your right ear and then come out your left cheek? Let's see. Could do it like this. That's the ear, behind the ear. So he shot himself in the back of the goddamn head twice. That was one shot. Right ear came out his left cheek. Keep going.
The coroner staff concluded that the second shot hit an artery.
So he shot himself in the back of the head twice. Is that suicide? That don't sound like suicide to me. So he's breaking something that went up to the doggone president of the United States. Something that this stinking country is celebrating. And we are the butt of it. Our people has been killed, has been turned out, has been doped up. How many crack babies were born because of they wanted to put another president, or they wanted to put a shell government in another country? How many of our people had to die, had to get hooked on drugs, had to be pimped out because of this? You had something, Bagaiboa?
Yeah, sir. I just wanted to say, with the trajectory of the entry point and the exit point of the bullet, that was an execution.
You damn right it was an execution. Exactly, it was an execution. And Matthias said the first shot going to leave you dazed if you survive it.
Right.
You damn right. If you survived it. But who in their right man? Anybody who's looking to kill themselves are looking to just do it. You know, they're not really in their right minds. But why would you go like this? Why would someone go like this and boom, shoot it out their face? Oh damn, I didn't do it right. I'm still alive. And then do it again. Are you serious? No. He and I can't believe this still ruled a suicide. White man is the devil the Bible speaks of.
That's right.
Let's drop this. Let's drop this and go to the freeway article, Baba Shaw.
Come. Freeway, Rick Ross. Ricky Donnell Freeway Rick Ross, born January 26, 1960, is an American author and convicted drug trafficker, best known for the drug empire he established in Los Angeles, California.
Best known for his drug empire he established. Let's see what type of man Freeway Ricky Ross is. Keep going.
Come. In the early to mid 1980s, he was sentenced to life in prison, though the sentence was shortened on appeal and Ross was released in 2009. Biographies?
No, let's not do the biography. Oh, yeah, hold on. Yeah, let's get a little bit on a biography just to see what type of man he is.
Come. Ross attended school at Susan Miller Dorsey High School in Los Angeles. He played for the tennis team, but was unable to get a college scholarship because he was illiterate.
So he was a tennis star, but was unable to get it because he couldn't read or write. He was about to go to college. Let that sink in. He was about to go to college on an athletic scholarship, but he could not read or write. He could not read or write. And that goes to show you like what is going on in LA. Like, no, seriously, I'm like, what is going on in LA? Because he was about to get a scholarship for playing tennis. And we have two major athletes from LA that play tennis. You know what I'm saying? Serena, Venus Williams. Two major high touted athletes from LA. Like, I didn't even know before, you know, Venus and Serena that black people even play tennis. Right. You know what I'm saying? I didn't even know that. But I guess, you know, that was a thing out in LA. He was about to get out. But he couldn't read and write. So this is the person he was, right? He was about to get out the hood, quote unquote, but he couldn't read or write. So he was left with other things, right? And he went all the way through high school. How is that possible? You go all the way through high school, 12 years of education, and this is the reason being because we're being taught by our oppressors. We're being taught by our oppressors. They don't give a damn about us. They don't give a damn about our kids. They would rather us be illiterate so that we can do the menial, low labor jobs and whatnot. You know what I'm saying? To clean up after the oppressors. That's the type of things that they wanted to do. So this brother, unfortunately, could not read or write. His options were very limited. His options are very limited. You can't even be a driver, really, if you don't know, if you can't read the signs of where you're going. You know what I mean? So this is part of the reason what started him off on his path to being a drug kingpin. Keep going.
Come. Ross has said that when he first saw crack cocaine as a teenager in 1979, he did not immediately believe it was a drug because it looked different from other drugs he had seen.
Okay, keep going.
The nickname Freeway came from Ross owning properties along Los Angeles Interstate 110, also known as the Harbor Freeway.
Okay, so it's saying it's because he owned, some properties. Now, in order for you to own properties, you have to have some money. So they're saying this happened after he became a drug kingpin. When in actuality, we get our nicknames very, very simple than something like this. This is not the reason why he got his nickname Freeway Ricky Ross. The reason why he got his name Freeway Ricky is because it was several Rickies in the neighborhood. And it was like, which one is which, Ricky? Which Ricky? Ricky down by the corner store, or not a Ricky by the freeway, because he lived by the freeway. That was as simple as that. So his name was Freeway because he lived by the freeway. Had nothing to do with how much property he owned, as he was a drug kingpin, or how much keys he was traveling, moving along the freeway. It was simply because it was more than one Ricky in his neighborhood, and he lived by the freeway. Hence the term Freeway Ricky Ross. How do I know this? Because he said it out of his own mouth. That's why. I'd rather believe something that he actually says than something that I read that people can alter. Keep going.
According to an October 2013 Esquire magazine article, between 1982 and 1989.
That's only 7 years?
Federal prosecutors estimated Ross bought and resold several metric tons of cocaine, with Ross's gross revenue claimed to be more than 900 million, equivalent to 2.7 billion in 2020.
2.7 billion. So he had almost $1 billion back in the 80s. Almost 900 million, almost $1 billion back in the 80s. And it is equivalent to now $2.7 billion. Do you know, I said this before, do you know the difference between 1 million and 1 billion? It's not just a couple zeros. It's not just a couple zeros. Let me put it in terms of this. If you take seconds and have 1 million seconds and line 1 million seconds up, 1 million seconds equals to 12 days. How many days do you think is 1 billion seconds? I'm just telling you, it's a trick question.
It's really years, right?
How many years do you think it is?
Yeah, about 60.
Not that much. 36 years. 1 million seconds is 12 days. 1 billion seconds is 36 years. 30 plus years. 30 is more. It's over 3 decades. That's how much 1 billion seconds is. And Freeway Ricky Ross had equivalent to today's money, billions of dollars. They're about to sell the Denver Broncos. The Denver Broncos is up for sale, and it's a dude that made the news a few years ago that paid the tuition for a graduating class. I want to say from Clark and Spelman. Like he did the keynote speech there, and he was like, "I'm paying for all y'all's tuition. Y'all can start scot-free." They're trying to get him to buy the team. Do you know how much they're selling the team for? $4 billion. $4 billion. So this dude made that in 7 years. He made billions of dollars in a 7-year span. Do you know how much weight you have to move? He moved metric tons. He moved metric tons. You just think it was a crack epidemic that exploded in the 80s during his reign. How did he get it? Let's keep reading.
Okay. And profits of almost 300 million, 900 million in 2020. During the height of his drug dealing, Ross was said to have sold 3 million in one day.
3 million in one day. Now that's another thing. That's another thing. We say we don't have no money. Black and brown Hispanic community. We say we don't have any money. We do have money. We just spend it on the wrong things. Absolute wrong things. If we spend it on ourselves in a building manner, you know what I'm saying? If we spent it on ourselves in a building manner, not in a destructive manner, we would be a different. I can't even say that. Like, really, the reason why I can't even say that is because we have no moral compass as a whole. It doesn't matter how much money we have or how comfortable we are. We have no overall moral compass, moral code to keep us on true north. I say that overall. I'm not talking about the brothers in the I.S.U.P.K. Brothers and sisters in the I.S.U.P.K. We know our true north. We know who our king is. We know who our leader is. We know who the men above us are. We know how to follow orders, and we know how to lead. We know how to be brotherly to our brothers. This is what we know. But overall, everybody, all of us, we don't know that. We don't know how to do that. That's one of the reasons why we can't spend our money on ourselves. But this brother made $3 million a day. As much, Salakia said he made as much as $3 million in one day. Keep going.
Okay. According to the Oakland Tribune, in the course of his rise, prosecutors estimate that Ross exported several tons of cocaine.
Exported means he put out. Like I said, LA was just a hub. All the cocaine came through LA. It came through LA, right? A lot of the portions came through LA from Nicaragua. Keep going. And then he what?
That Ross exported several tons of cocaine to New York, Ohio, Pennsylvania, and elsewhere, and made more than $500 million between 1983 and 1984. More
than $500 million between 83 and 84. Just exporting. And all these places is where a lot of niggas are. A lot of brown people are. That's where all these places are. You mean tell me like just think of it, New York City, and then the surrounding areas within New York that got caught up in the crack epidemic. Then you got Ohio. Ohio seems like it never recovered until LeBron James came there. You know what I'm saying? Pennsylvania, come on. Everybody in UPK know how Pennsylvania is. If it hadn't been for Commander Joe and Yahanna setting up shop in Pennsylvania, who knows how more destroyed Pennsylvania would be, and other places. You know what I'm saying? Keep going.
Come. In 1996, Ross was sentenced to life imprisonment under the 3 strikes law after being convicted for purchasing more than 100 kilograms of cocaine from a federal agent in a sting operation.
So he got out on a technicality. Like he was serving a life sentence. He got out on a technicality, and then they went after him and set him up. They put bait on the hook and got to somebody who he trusted, who was in the game, and said, hey, because he had amassed a huge wealth, huge pot of money before he got locked up. When he got locked up, they took everything. When he got out, he learned to read in jail, and he found this complication in his case, this loophole, not even his loophole, this complication in his case, and he fought it himself, right? He had some outside help, but he had nothing but time. He was doing life in prison. He had nothing but time. So when he actually got out, the feds, got to some people that he knew that was in that life that he had still trusted, and they said, "Hey, well, you just do this, get this one time 100 keys, you'd be good." And that was his thinking. He was like, "I could just do this one time because I've for years, almost a decade before, done it for years. I'll just do this one time, and I'll walk away a happy man because I have no job. I can't do anything." So they set him up, and you know what? If he was actually, in contact with the UPK, we would have told that brother, "Hey, leave that alone. The Most High gave you mercy to get you out of jail. You know what I'm saying? For life. Do not go back into that life. He did not seek the counsel of the men of the Lord, and he got caught up. And that's what happened. Keep going.
Later that year, a series of articles by journalist Gary Webb in the San Jose Mercury News revealed a connection between one of Ross's cocaine sources, Danilo Blandon, and the CIA as part of the Iran-Contra affair.
So while he's in jail now, this reporter is finding out all this stuff, and he asked him about it, and he was like, "Yeah, he knows Blandon. He knows who he is. He knew who he was, and then he looked like the reporter gave him some pictures, like, hey, who this is? He's like, yeah, he was there at some of the meets a few times. I seen him over here at this, at this. I just thought, they were with them. Well, it turns out those people that he identified was CIA. Was the CIA, and this is part of the connection of what Gary Webb put together. So he was like, well, why are these CIA agents being associated with these known narco traffickers, Blandon and Mercedes? I think I'm pronouncing that name right. But he was doing his diligence in tracking them down because he's seen the two narco traffickers and he's seen the CIA agents with them. So he was like, well, why is this happening? Why are they, in close contact with each other? What in the world does narco traffickers and CIA have to do with anything? Then he finds Rick Ross. When he's in jail, he was convicted of and this was all over the newspapers too. They took down one of the largest kingpin. They love to put us out there on Front Street when they catch us doing wrong, right? They love to do that. So they caught him, with his hand in the cookie jar, saying that he was the biggest drug kingpin in the history of the whole world, when it really was Nancy Reagan and Nancy and Ronald Reagan. They were the biggest trap king and queens in the world. But Rick Ross was the face of it. So this investigative reporter was like, well, how'd you get the drugs? And he said he got it from Blandon and Mercedes. He got it from these two Nicaraguans. He got it from them. Put two and two together, did his investigation, and he found the truth. Keep going.
Having learned to read at the age of 28 during his first stint in prison, Ross spent much of his time behind bars studying the law. He eventually discovered a legal loophole that would lead to his release. Ross's case was brought to a federal court of appeals, which found that the three strikes law had been erroneously applied and reduced his sentence to 20 years. He was released from federal correctional institution.
All right, drop that. Give me go down to the drug, go down to cocaine business.
Cocaine introduction. Ross began selling cocaine after his illiteracy prevented him from earning a tennis scholarship for college. He began spending time with an upholstery teacher at a Los Angeles Community College who revealed he dealt cocaine and offered Ross a small amount to sell.
So that was his introduction to the game. Right? Drop me down. Skip that. Drop me down to Nicaraguan exile.
A Nicaraguan exile and cocaine distributor named Danilo Blandon was acquainted with Arguellas and Corrales, and although he did not know him personally, was impressed with the amount of cocaine that Ross was moving. Blandon offered to supply cocaine to Corrales to sell to Ross for a 50-50 split of the profit. Eventually, Corrales lost his appetite for the cocaine business and retired. At which point, Ross became a direct customer of Blandon.
So he just kept moving up and up and up, and he was getting, more connected with his distributor, his connect, his plug. Keep going.
Through his connection to Blandon and Blandon's supplier, Norwin Meneses Cantarero, Ross was able to purchase Nicaraguan cocaine at significantly reduced rates. Ross began distributing cocaine at $10,000 per kilo, less than the average street price. Distributing it to the Bloods and Crips street gangs.
So he went straight to the gangs, to the local gangs. He dealt with both the Bloods and the Crips, right?
By 1982, Ross had received his moniker of Freeway Ricky and claimed to have sold up to US $3 million worth of cocaine per day, purchasing 1,000 pounds of cocaine a week.
1,000 pounds of cocaine a week. Now, if you know anything about the game, cocaine is like the pure part of it. They then cut that up and add some other crap to it and then make it into a crack. They weren't selling cocaine on the street. They were selling crack. So that 1,000 pounds of cocaine that they had a week turned into I don't know how many pounds of crack that put our people in the situation, in some of the situations that we're in right now. Keep going. And he got all this from, Blandon was his number one connect, his number one plug. His other partner was how you say it, Menzies. His other partner was Menzies, but they worked in close contact with they were the Contras. They were like the head guys, the top guys within the Contras, trying to overthrow that standing government. And because they were some of the head guys that were working to overthrow that government, the U.S. was helping them do that. And how could the U.S. do that? They couldn't send them money anymore because they were known narco traffickers. That didn't matter to Menzies and Blandon. It didn't matter because they were still going to do what they was going to do. That was their number one source of income. That's how they fought the man, so to speak. So what the U.S. did was open up the market, and U.S. has such a great appetite for all things that is not of the Most High. You know what I'm saying? Has such an appetite for sex, drugs, and alcohol. Well, the cartel, the Contras had the pipeline to the drugs. So the U.S. government allowed them to ship as much cocaine as they possibly can, and they gave them basically free reign to do this. And who authorized this? It went all the way up to the president of the United States. Not one, but two of them. Why? Because George H.W. Bush knew everything that was going on as well. And he later became the president. and then his son became the president. And what was his son doing? The war on drugs. The war on drugs that his father and his mentor perpetrated. And the sitting president right now, who made his chops in the Senate, was for the war on drugs. The pieces of legislation that went direct, that attributed to the 3 strikes rule, that put Freeway Ricky Ross in prison, mandatory minimums, and all this stuff had a lot to do with this current sitting president, Sleepy Joe Biden. And he has the nerve to say you ain't black if you don't vote for me? Really? And what did we do as a people? We said, oh, master, I'm black. I'll vote for you. I'll vote for you right straight away. And I'm going to get my folk to vote for you, too. I should play my song. But I'm not. I'm not. Continue on reading, Baba Kashar.
Ross initially invested most of his profits in houses and businesses because he feared his mother would catch on to what he was doing if he started spending lavishly on himself.
So he was saying one of the biggest drug kingpins who made more money than the president himself was afraid to spend the money because he was afraid of his mama. Right. Is that what you're saying? The power of a black woman. He was afraid of his mama. You want to believe that? Go ahead. Drop me down to the drug empire.
Come. Drug empire with thousands of employees.
So this dude couldn't read in high school. Keep up. Read that again.
With thousands of employees.
He lost his college scholarship because he couldn't read and write. What?
With thousands of employees.
So even with that, and when he had these employees, he didn't learn to read and write until after he got locked up and went to jail. So he had thousands of employees making hundreds of millions of dollars, making millions of dollars every single day, traveling the world, being with kingpins and heads of state and people who made important decisions, right? Keep going.
Ross has said he operated drug sales not only in Los Angeles.
Not only in Los Angeles, but look at the list of places and tell me that, these are only white places that they're talking about. These are only places where white people live. Like, think of Mayberry and Beverly Hills and whatnot, and Calabasas. Think of that. Or think of places, people possibly in your family that that live in these places. Now let's go to the list of places where he shipped to and where he employed these thousands and thousands of employees. Keep going.
Ross has said he operated drug sales not only in Los Angeles, but in places across the country, including St. Louis. New Orleans.
That's black right there.
Texas.
That's black.
Kansas City. Oklahoma. Indiana.
Hold on, Oklahoma. That's where a lot of Native Americans are. You know what I'm saying?
Cincinnati.
Right?
North Carolina.
Who that say they're gonna beat them Bengals? Come on. North Cackalack. South Cackalack.
Baltimore.
B-more. Come on now. Ain't nothing but niggas up there.
Cleveland
ain't nothing but niggas out there either.
And
Seattle. We got a bunch of Native Americans out there as well. So we got a whole list of places where it is nothing but Israel. Nothing but Israel. And the reason why all these places were targeted is specifically because the president of the United States wanted didn't want a socialist government in his backyard. So in order to fund the overthrow of that socialist government, he allowed crack cocaine to be distributed into our communities, specifically to us, thinking that he can contain it and it will not come out to white America. When in actuality, it totally got leaked out into white America in the form of the opioid, crisis. Did you know it's only like few chemicals between the ADHD medicine, like the Xanax and the other stuff, and heroin?
It's Ritalin.
Ritalin.
Yeah.
Ritalin.
Only a few chemical components that's a little bit different from that. Ritalin and cocaine is damn near the same. And that's what they give our kids in schools.
And they prescribe our kids they prescribe this crap to our kids in school on an alarming basis. So much so that kids have like these this is suburban kids, of course. The kids have these cocktail parties where they'll just take a bunch of medicine, put it in a bowl, and they'll just start taking these medicines. Like, seriously? Most High has something for you, and it's gonna be something worse than having your kids, be hooked on Ritalin and Molly and Percocet and Oxycontin. It's gonna be something worse, far worse than that. Why? Because you had our kids being sold for a hit. You had our kids, our women selling themselves for a hit. You had our fathers, shooting each other just so someone else can't come on their corner to sell that crap, that cocaine, that heroin. And because of that, all of your kingdoms on the earth is going to fall.
That's right.
Not by my hands. This is not my words. The words of the Most High. We already read earlier what's going to happen to Ethiopia. The same is going to happen to every single race of people that is not Black, Hispanic, or Native American Indian. And that's by the hands of the Most High. Not us. We ain't going to do nothing but sit back, eat some popcorn, sip on some wine, have some strong, and be with our women. That's all we're going to do. And we're going to enjoy the show. Why? Because you did it to us. You did it to us. When we were at our worst, you didn't lend a hand to help pick us up. What you did was you lend a foot to help kick us back down. And Christ is going to come back to avenge us. Here is the patience and the faith of the saints. And with that, I pass the class, the priest and officer, Pagaibawa.
Security announcements. We are the I.S.U.P.K. out of 1 West, 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Commanding General Yahanna. New rules for brothers and sisters. When a new brother or sister comes into the school, they are off limits for 6 months. They are to be saluted only. They are here to shut themselves of the world. After 6 months, if a brother or a sister has an interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to a brother or a sister. There's another 6 months in which the brother or sister will court each other. After this 6-month period, the brother or sister will get permission from the head to marry. Tithes, which is a commandment. You can find this in Numbers chapter 18, verse 21, and Malachi chapter 3, verses 8 through 10. It means 10th in Hebrew and is pronounced by Asherah. 10% of every penny of any increase the Lord gives you to the treasury department or teacher. Priest fund, free will offering for priests, not mandatory. Whatsoever amount you would like to give. Upcoming holy convocation. Passover. The 14th day of the first month. The 14th day of the first month. Friday, April 15th, 2022. You can find this in Exodus chapter 12, verses 1 through 51, Leviticus chapter 23, verses 4 through 5, 1 Corinthians chapter 5, verses 7 through 8, and 2 Chronicles chapter 30, verse 17.
All right, hold on one second. The Passover is coming up. It's coming up quickly. It's coming up fast. If you do not have the Passover fund is $200. $200 per person, 17 years of age and over. If you are 17 and you're attending the Passover, that is you. You pay $200. Get with your camp leader. There is a form that you need to fill out, and there's a specific place that you that it needs to go to. So get with a camp leader to find that specific information out. If you had not made travel plans, make the travel plans sooner than later. The Passover demon is a real thing. Anything that's going to try and keep you from getting to the Passover, that Passover demon will try and keep you from getting to the Passover. This is not a recommendation. This is an order. If you can make it, there are brothers who are in certain situations that physically cannot make it. I'm talking about if you can make it, get to the Passover. The Passover is something that is ordered of the Most High. All right, and this is a celebration of how the Most High got us out of captivity, destroyed our enemies. Right. So this is a true celebration, and once Christ comes back a second time, it's going to be some sort of celebration. I don't know what it's going to be called, but it's going to be glorious. It's going to be victorious. So get to the Passover, and that's going to be in Florida, this Cocoa Beach, Florida, this year. Also, Salaki, tune in to Commander Joe and Yahanna's Black Watch at 9 p.m. tonight, from 9 to 11 p.m. Check out his Black Watch YouTube page and like, share, subscribe, share his stream as well.
The other channel, Commander General Yahanna channel too.
That's a Facebook channel or is a YouTube channel?
YouTube.
It's a YouTube channel. Commanding General Yahanna YouTube channel. You can find it there as well.
Remind Akim and Akwathian to check on social media such as ISUPK.com, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and so on for I.S.U.P.K events and materials. If a brother wants to be a trooper in the school, you should start wearing all black, which includes black boots, black shirts, black pants, black headband, or scarf. With that, we say Imagine, which means to stand. Men of Israel will give one courtesy salute to the teacher. Men of Israel, Imagine Shabbat, Imagine Barak, Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shabrakatah.
Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shabrakatah.
Yahweh Matah, class dismissed.